297 to 273 BCE, a 25-year period wedged between the aggressive military campaigns of Chandragupta Maurya and the moral edicts of Ashoka. To understand how the Mauryan Empire survived its infancy, we have to look for the ruler who governed during this window, Emperor Bindusara. But locating him in the historical record requires navigating a near-total silence. The most prolific chroniclers of the Mauryan era, the Buddhists, largely ignore his existence. To reconstruct this ghost emperor, we have to piece together fragments. We must cross-reference in different secular foreign logs with competing and sometimes hostile religious texts. Ignoring Bindusara leaves a 25-year void in the chronology. Without him, the transition from Chandragupta's brutal territorial conquests to Ashoka's sprawling administrative empire is logically impossible to explain. This diagram shows how different cultures recorded his identity. Orthodox Sanskrit texts, specifically Patanjali's Mahabhashya, do not focus on the name Bindusara. Instead, they record his primary military title, Amitragata, meaning slayer of foes. Far to the west, Greek historians transliterated this exact title. In their diplomatic logs, they recorded the Mauryan ruler as Amitrochates or Alitrochates. Domestic records simultaneously attempted to claim his legacy. The Vayu Purana, representing the Orthodox dynastic tradition, refers to him as Bhadrasara. Meanwhile, Hemachandra's 12th century Jain text, the Parashishta Parvan, records his name as Simhasena. This specific Jain variation was a deliberate theological framing. His father, Chandragupta, had abdicated the throne to join the Jain ascetic tradition, and later Jain authors sought to integrate the son into their own religious lineage. Bindusara was a sovereign entangled in the competing legacies of rival factions and foreign empires, each documenting his rule through the lens of their own linguistic and political needs. This map shows the territorial baseline in 297 BCE. Bindusara inherited vast northern and northwestern domains, stretching across the Ganges and the Indus from Chandragupta. The strategic objective for Bindusara and his veteran prime minister, Chanakya, was the Deccan Plateau, the dense, resource-rich territory referred to in texts as the land between the two seas. They executed a brutal military campaign, driving imperial forces relentlessly southward to secure this southern landmass. The Tibetan historian Taranatha documented the scale of this violence, stating that Chanakya destroyed the kings and nobles of 16 distinct towns to neutralize resistance. This southern annexation was the logistical step that bridged the peninsula, officially transforming the Mauryan state from a northern hegemony into a true subcontinental empire. Despite this expansion, the empire's internal stability was fractured. The northwestern border province of Taxila operated as a volatile commercial and strategic hub. A massive citizen revolt broke out in the city. The uprising was not directed at the emperor himself, but was triggered by systemic local corruption and the misrule of provincial bureaucrats. The Divya Vedana provides the exact textual evidence for this crisis. It identifies the target of the people's bitter complaints as Dushta Matyas, wicked ministers. Bindusara responded by dispatching his eldest son, Prince Susima. When Susima failed to restore order, the emperor sent another son, Prince Ashoka, who successfully pacified the region. Bindusara used this administrative crisis as a proving ground. The Taxila revolt exposed Susima's weakness and catalyzed Ashoka's ascent as a highly capable military commander. This map illustrates Bindusara's international footprint. His foreign policy extended far beyond the subcontinent, reaching into West Asia and the Mediterranean. He maintained direct correspondence with King Antiochus I Soter of Syria. Classical Greek sources record that Bindusara sent a specific order to Antiochus, requesting 3 luxury items: sweet wine, dried figs, and a Greek sophist, a philosopher specialized in debate. Antiochus replied that he would gladly fulfill the order for the wine and the figs, but he strictly refused to send the sophist. He justified the refusal on strict legal grounds, explaining that imperial Greek laws prohibited the sale or purchase of philosophers. Beyond these personal exchanges, relations were institutionalized. Antiochus sent a permanent resident ambassador named Damicus to Bindusara's court, and Ptolemy II of Egypt dispatched an envoy named Dionysus. Bindusara operated a sophisticated foreign policy. He engaged with Mediterranean superpowers as an equal participant in global trade and intellectual exchange. Domestically, Bindusara made strict religious choices. He rejected his father's Jainism in favor of the Ajivika order, an ascetic sect focused on absolute determinism. By withholding royal patronage from the Buddhist order, Bindusara essentially removed himself from their history books. The monks who chronicled the Mauryan lineage had little reason to memorialize a king who did not fund their monasteries. The texts do record the presence of an Ajivika fortune-teller residing in the royal court, who prophesied Ashoka's future imperial greatness to the emperor. The presence of this seer indicates that the Ajivika order was integrated into the Mauryan executive apparatus during Bindusara's reign. This timeline tracks the Mauryan zenith, ending abruptly with Bindusara's death in 273 BCE and the immediate collapse of central authority. His death triggered a vicious 4-year succession conflict among his sons. The civil war delayed Ashoka's coronation until 268 BCE. The territorial consolidation and the centralized bureaucracy Bindusara maintained were the structural prerequisites for the empire that followed. He held the borders and managed the provinces, handing over a stable apparatus that Ashoka would eventually repurpose for the spread of Dhamma.